Hello everyone, it's Brujita. Happy 2026! Woo! I started this video back in honestly November to December. I finished the books kind of late, but also I've just been having trouble with the actual video, and a lot of things have been happening. A lot of things have happened since I filmed my November TBR. But you know what? That's okay. You're gonna be seeing past Brujita. One thing I did want to mention, this vlog is going to contain spoilers for these books. There are spoilers in here. So if there's a book that you want to read and you don't want it to be spoiled, maybe don't watch this video or proceed with caution. If you don't mind getting spoiled for things, go ahead and watch it. If not, maybe click out of this video. There are some points where I tried to censor things so that I wouldn't spoil the book. But then it ended up not happening that way. My brain, I don't know. So fair warning, there will be spoilers. So keep that in mind. I also wanted to mention one more thing. My sweater, it's premeditated. I went to one of their shows. If you guys like hardcore screamy music, check out the band Premeditated. I saw them with a whole bunch of other bands. I just went there for Premeditated, and I ended up loving pretty much all the bands. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that I don't know. I love the sweater. I've been living in the sweater now, in case anyone cared. But yeah, alright. Well, thank you guys. I was gonna say thank you guys for watching, but I say that so many times in this video. Thanks for putting up with this intro. Thank you guys so much for your patience in all of this. For anyone still watching, Past Brujita will take it away from here. Go ahead, girl. Hi guys. So I just wanted to quickly update you all that I finished Dark Matter. I had to read it through the audiobook at 2.25 speed. It was kind of slow at some parts, but overall I gave it a 3-star. This book was kind of sad. It plays a lot with memory and loss and memory loss. Maybe also puts into a perspective Alzheimer's and dementia. I feel like that was kind of a link. Overall 3 stars. Yeah, that's all I got. It was low-key kind of a bummer. I didn't even update the journey with you guys. Powered through it because I wasn't really feeling it. Okay. Does that not creep anyone else out? Ooh. Okay, hold on. Hi guys. So I don't know where to film. I started an audiobook from Madam. I started from the very beginning because it has been years since I started reading it. I am 28% in, and I'm just gonna say it. I'm a little bored. I am listening to it at 2.25 speed, and I know it's still the beginning. I'm trying to trudge on, but honestly, I kind of felt like DNFing a little bit. I'm gonna just try to push through a little bit longer, and if I really am meh, then I'll stop. At the very beginning, it felt like a freaking one star where I'm I literally do not care. But then I put it at 2.25 speed, and it's just now starting to get kind of okay. And the Dark Academia vibes are very Dark Academia. You know how Dark Academia is Dark Academia, right? It's Dark Academia. Yeah, especially with tea, her favorite tea is Earl Grey. Just a setting where it's in Scotland, but I just imagine a castle type of academy, boarding school that she's at. Her students, the girls, are really testing her, and they're high-key annoying. They're kind of bad. They're a little bad. And right now, one of the girls, Bethany, I think is her name, character, her teacher Rose, that she did something bad to her. I'm just what's going on here? I don't know why I feel I forgot what her name is, but let's just call her Bethany. Bethany, I feel she's kind of not even real. I low-key feel she's a ghost, but other people are interacting with her and saying that she is that she exists. You know, even arguing with like the other kids and stuff. And they're talking about like the other teacher and how Bethany was like super close with the other teacher, and she was having like an inappropriate relationship with one of the students or something. I'm just like, is it inappropriate in the sense where like they got really close and like supportive? Like the way that like the book is making it sound is like they're very strict like that. Or was there like a relationship that they had? There's also this one girl that also like died at the place and at like the school. We're just like weird and like sneaky and like really strict. We're like, Rose's mom, she's in like a facility, she's in a home, and Rose had her like at this one place, like a home. She finds out one day that she's not at the facility that Rose had her at, and she finds out that the school moved her somewhere else, and she doesn't even know like where she was moved to. And so she goes into the board's office or whatever, and they're like, hey, where's my mom? And they were like, oh, like, you want us to tell you where your mom is? Yeah, she was living somewhere else. Why did you guys move her? And why didn't you guys tell me? And the board was like, you really want us to tell you everything about your mom? And she was like, yeah, I should be like the first person to contact. Of course I want to know. And they were like, oh, okay, we'll start doing that now, just until you get settled in. But they were like, you want us to move her back to her old place? And she was like, well, no, because I think the other facility was kind of like not as good as the one that she's in now. Like, oh, okay, we'll tell you or whatever. And I'm just like, that's weird, but okay. So that's where I'm at right now. There are some things that are interesting, but at the same time, I'm just like, I don't know where this is going. And in the very beginning, there's a scene where there's like a fire happening, like the school is like burning down. So I feel like maybe that's what's going on. Also, look at my shirt. Isn't it like so cute? Anyways, I'm like, the sleeve, I feel like a pirate. It's so cute. The school burning down, or maybe like the whole mystery of like the girl that died and like the teachers. I'm 28% in. I don't think that's a spoiler. Like it literally starts out with like a fire. On another note, the other books that I have been reading, I haven't been reading The Rage of the Dragons, even though I really want to read it. I'm holding off on it because I want to focus on finishing The Devil in Silver. And I think I'm like almost halfway. I've just been working so much. So that's why I've been leaning more towards audiobooks. That's what I'm doing with Madam. But even then, I think I'm also just a little tired. That is my update right now. I'm going to go get groceries. I also really want to play Left 4 Dead. Anyways, I'm gonna go to the store. We'll see if I keep on reading Madam or if I'm gonna DNF. All right, bye.
Wait, what do you mean long?
Because yours are like, they look really long.
Oh, they're coming.
Now talk, baby. Oh, hold on.
Hi guys.
Oh, yeah, I think it's working.
I ate Burger King and now I feel like throwing up. No, it wasn't Burger King, it was Wendy's. So if you're over 25 and you eat Wendy's, don't. Hello again. My stomach still hurts. But my husband's here. Say hi. Hi guys, so I'm now 89% into Madam. A bit of spoilers here, okay? So just, you don't want to be spoiled by Madam. Sorry. I think so far I'm giving it 3 stars. Some of it is interesting, like when you find out the secrets about the boarding school. This book is giving cult. It's very culty. Yeah, I'm 89% in. I have like less than an hour. I've been listening to it at 2.15 speed. So there is that. I was listening to this when I was doing like my errands in the aisle of Dollar Tree, and I just started hearing one of those random things. Like I feel like up until like a certain point, up until like now, everything was pretty like, oh, proper, This book is very dark academia vibes, super dark academia vibes. There was a part that shocked me so bad because there's not really any like sexy stuff or explicit stuff, and there's a scene that just I was literally in like the Dollar Tree aisle and I wanted to vomit, and like the main character too was thinking about it just makes you like feel so gross. It's so bad. It's nasty. But even like in the book, the main character, like she threw up because it was just so nasty, and I'm like, oh, why would that be happening? Why would that be happening? Like it just adds to like, there was a purpose to it. But I was just like, nasty. It was so gross. It was like, okay. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I really just want to finish it. Like I said, I'm at 2.15 speed right now. But after Madam, at least one more book in, The Devil in Silver, and possibly start or get close to finishing one more book. That's my update for right now, and yes. Toodaloo. Hi guys. So, it is currently December 2nd, and I still haven't finished a lot of the books. I am determined to at least finish The Devil in Silver. I am 66% into it, so I'm like a little bit more than halfway done. I did get to volume 2 of Lightfall. I didn't get to Maurice or Project Hail Mary. Sorry, I'm looking at my TBR pile right now. I haven't been feeling that great. I don't know what's been going on. Like, I've been having some stomach issues. Not the reason why I'm in the bathroom, I swear. The reason why we're in the bathroom is because I'm putting on makeup. I decided, oh, wouldn't it be kind of silly, goofy? Wouldn't it be kind of fun if I did like a get ready with me and updated my reading progress? And then we can have multiple Spider-Man universe Spider-Mans. We'd have multiple Spider-Man in the background. Wouldn't that be kind of fun? Something a little fun, different. I want to prioritize my book club pick, which is One Dark Window. I forgot who it's by. Rachel something. Sorry, girl, whoever wrote it. Sorry, Rachel. I'm just gonna start doing my makeup. I only put concealer like on my eyes, kind of like primer. I love Wet n Wild. So, in case anyone cares, Wet n Wild Incognito shade Fair Beige. Whatever. Finishing powder in Fair Light. Wet n Wild Hello Halo blush lighter, whatever. And then this is, my hands are so shaky. I'm so sorry. Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells 5-pan palette. I'm not sponsored. I know I get sponsored all the time, but not this time, guys. Sorry. I use Essence because they're also cruelty free and they're pretty cheap. So. Oh, also, I got this. This is also from Essence, actually. I forgot. But this is a Harley Quinn. I love the Birds of Prey movie. I know I'm going off topic, but I don't care. Lots of people said that the Birds of Prey movie, Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, whatever, super long title, wasn't that good. But you know what? It was for the girlies. That movie was for the girlies. If you don't like that movie, low-key, you hate women. I'm only kind of kidding. It's so fun. That's the thing. It's so fun. It's so relatable about like stuff about a breakup. There's a lot of shawties up in there that I absolutely love. Anyways, we're going off topic here. I finished Madam. The audiobook for Madam. I did finish Lightfall. That was Lightfall. It's pretty chill, whatever. I'm now in a little over halfway through The Devil in Silver. It's taken me a little bit of time, honestly, because it's like, I like annotating it. There's this guy, his name is Pepper. He's on this like psych ward because he got arrested for getting into a fight with these 3 cops. And he's like a frequent flyer. Like, he's always having problems with the police. So, like, the police are tired. And they were, like, on the last, like, few minutes of their shifts before they had to clock out. And, like, I guess when you arrest someone, you have to, like, do a bunch of paperwork. And they didn't want to do that. And so they're like, it's easier for us to just put you in the behavioral unit at this hospital So we're just gonna do that because we're all tired and you're annoying. He went on a hold for like the night or like a few days. When he gets admitted, he stays there for more than like a day, a couple days, a week, and now he's been there for months. And you meet like a group of characters, like a bunch of like other characters, and they seem like they're all like kind of funny and quirky. I really love Dory. She's like this old lady who like pretty much has lived there for years, and she's just so funny. A lot of times I really like how the characters are. Like I like a book because of their characters. But the main character, I don't really like him just because he's very, like, annoying. He's kind of racist. And he's, like, a middle-aged, like, 40-something-year-old white man who is just kind of, like, ignorant and, like, he's not my favorite. And that's someone I would really, like, lean towards. Let me tell you guys, this is my lipstick from Wet n Wild. It's in the shade Cinnamon Spice. It's getting, like, a little bit juicier. He is, like, the whole book is pretty funny. I think I mentioned that before. And they finally got to a point where, like, there's, like, a whole group of them now. I guess kind of, like, I've never watched Breakfast Club, but, like, kind of, like, those vibes. Where they kind of, like, come together, this, like, random bunch of people. Because they're all in the same spot. There's Dory, which I really love. This, like, old lady. Who, like, she's not all the way, like, there. But she's, like, practically helps run, like, the psych ward. Then you meet Coffee, which is like this guy where he has like these delusions, I guess, where he's like always super obsessed with like trying to contact like the police or people in, not the police, the president or like people in charge or whatever, like people in the government. Always like obsessed with the phone. Like Pepper gives him like his credit card so that he could make phone calls on the unit, and he like maxed out his credit card because he was like constantly calling whoever was in charge or whatever. But I really like him. His name is Coffee. Later on in the book where I was at, like, his real name was Kofi, like, Kofi. And, like, they call him Coffee, like, the drink. Yeah, and then there's another girl, I think it's pronounced Lochi. I kind of read it like Loch Ness, like the Loch Ness Monster, but, like, Lochi, because it's Loochie. She's, like, this young girl. She's, like, still a teen. She's 15, and, like, her character is a little bit sad. She's very aggressive. Like, she's, like, very, like, fighty. And they, like, he describes her as very, like, super scrawny and tiny. She knows how to fight. Like, she has, like, beat people up on the unit. She has beat Pepper up. And he was, like, so shocked about her because she was, like, so tiny and, like, kind of, like, scrawny, I guess, or whatever. Like, really skinny. And, like, she, punched him really hard. And after that, he was, like, really scared of her. Like, people are really scared because she's super strong. She's been on and off units, like, the majority of her life. And, like, her story is really sad. Like, some people, like, on the unit, they're kind of silly in a way. Like, they're all there essentially for, like, a reason. Hers, I think, is, like, the saddest one. And even Pepper mentions that, where he's like, man, like, she's just a kid. Like, this is so sad. Like, it made me sad that, like, she's been on units like this, like, her whole life. And he just, like, started being there in, like, his mid-40s, and it's horrible for him. You can't imagine how, like, a kid is, like, surviving it, and, like, that made me really sad. Should I spoil it? I think I will, just because it's just, like, I feel like I have to talk about it. It's just so insane and made me so mad. If you want to read this book and you don't want spoilers, this is a spoiler section right now, okay? I'm just telling you right now, I'm gonna spoil the book for you right now. If you don't care about reading it, if you don't care about spoilers, then you can tune in. But if you actually want to read it, you don't want any spoilers, be aware right now, this is the spoiler section, okay? There is something where they call, like, the devil. They're convinced that the devil lives on the unit. And it's, like, this buffalo, like, half buffalo, half old man. The head of, like, a buffalo, like, it's, like, really, like, grotesque. And then it has, like, the lower half body of a, like, old man. The devil, like, comes into, like, their rooms at night and, like, scares them. The group kind of, like, rebelled and, like, held, like, the 2 nurses in charge hostage because they were just so fed up. Like, they don't treat them well on the unit. From their perspective, like, the food is horrible. They treat them like trash, like, inhumane. They drug them up, like, hardcore, like, pills that sometimes they need, and some of them it's, like, a lot to, like, sedate them. There's no real, like, enrichment on the unit. They kind of had enough. Like, kidnapped, they, like, knocked out the 2 nurses and the security guard on the floor, and they, like, locked them in a room. They took her keys, and they were like, well, what do we do with this freedom? And It was like random stuff, getting like cigarettes from like the box, like the locked drawers, and they like wanted to go outside, like a recess area, I guess, where they can go outside for like 15 minutes a day. It was like, honestly, it was pretty mundane stuff, but Lochi took one of the keys to go and unlock the devil's unit, like the forbidden area where like the devil is at. Lochi goes to unlock the door. He like escapes and like starts attacking everyone on the unit, like specifically like that group. They're all trying to like fend him off. They're all trying to figure out like how to take him down, and they're like, Lochi, like, get him, because she's like the muscle of the group, and she's like trying. So Coffee, which is also like, he's like a built like man. He's like a pretty built, like, he's described as like very tall and like you know, a bulky man. He goes into like one of the drawers, because like on the behavioral unit sometimes they like have to sedate the patient because they're just like, they're so much like in distress and stuff. They're like very irregulated, and like sometimes he can get aggressive and have like these like needles, like these shots to like, you know, sedate them. And so he goes into the drawer to find them. In his mind it was like, oh, so I can sedate the devil so that he can like leave us alone. You have like Dory, who's like getting attacked by this devil thing, and then you have Coffee. He's grabbing the needles and he's running towards like both of them. And then during that time they found out that the nurse Josephine, who they locked in another room, called the police. A police squad shows up, and then they just see this man running towards Dory with the needle, like this big man coming towards this old lady with a needle. And so they shoot this man. And hold on, let me go grab the evidence. I know I could move us out of the bathroom, but I'm kind of lazy at this point. But I brought out the receipts. So this is the part where it gets really spoilery, okay? So I'm so sad. So what ends up happening is they shoot Coffee 41 times. 41 times. And he got hit 19 times. And Coffee died. Coffee died later on that night. And I'm just like, that is insane. I did not expect anyone to die in this book. I did not expect anyone to die, and he was one of my favorite characters, I swear. All of my favorite characters die. So many of my favorite characters die, and I'm just like, why did you guys do this to Coffee? He just wanted to call the government or whatever. I was literally so mad when I read this. I was so pissed, and it's like the last few pages of the chapter. And something too, this is mentioned in the book, but Coffee is black and Dory is white. So there's a part in this book where it says, the tactical force had reached Northwest 4, and what did they find? Coffee waving 2 large gauge syringes at Dory. An old white woman fighting off an armed black attacker? That's not a difficult equation to solve. You can do it at home without a calculator. It's so sad. 41 times is crazy. And then in the next chapter, it says, well, fuck, the black guy did die first after all. This is crazy. This is literally insane. So I'm actually really mad about that. So yeah, that's what happens. Everyone is pretty much mourning Coffee. Like, their group is mourning Coffee, and they kind of like blame Pepper for it because, like, I don't really know. He's just kind of like the fall guy. He was part of the operation, essentially. He's the one that really started the operation for them to, like, do all that. But they took away their rights a little bit more. They all, like, restrained the group, and they were only allowed to go out, like, a few at a time. Like, the treatment for, like, the patients are really shitty, actually. They were restrained for the majority of the time. They couldn't really, like, leave their beds. They really, like, cuffed them to, like, their beds the majority of the time and just left them there. After that, Lochi and Dory, they had like beef. Essentially they have beef now because of what happened. And Pepper is like really mourning Coffee because they were roommates. Coffee was like the first person that he really met on the unit, and they kind of like bonded, I guess, a little bit over time. All that stuff happens, and now there's a part where Pepper finds a little shoddy. He finds a little fine shoddy on the unit. Pepper's kind of racist, and she's like around the same age as him, and they like fall in love on the unit, which I guess it's kind of cute, but like he's one of those guys that's just kind of like a little like there's something like, about him where you're just like, you're kind of annoying, you're kind of irritating, you're kind of racist, and just, well, something's a little wrong with you. He's like, I don't know, some parts are like really cute. I underlined some parts where he was like in love, and then he finds out that she's gonna get deported. She's Chinese, so they're gonna like, she's scared that they're gonna send her back to China. First, he thought like, oh, she's gonna get like, you know, discharged, and then she was like, no, I think they're actually just gonna deport me. They've been trying to find me, and that's why I'm on the unit, because they first sent me to jail and they found out that I was an immigrant. After that, they gave me like medications. They said that I had to behave, and since I wasn't behaved, and like, she mentioned that like she was acting like confused, which like, I don't know, there's like, this is why like perception in the book is a little like iffy, because this is coming from people's perspectives, not really trustworthy. So she said like sometimes she would get confused, and she like, they kept telling her to like behave properly and that she wasn't, because like they weren't giving her meds, or they were giving her too much meds, so she didn't need the meds and something like that. But she's on like mood stabilizers until they're like, they're probably gonna send me away. So he was like, no, don't get deported to China, you're too sexy. That was a vibe that he was giving, but he genuinely does like care about her, and he's learning empathy because of her, which I think is kind of crazy, but whatever. So that's the part where I'm at right now, and like, he's obsessed with like, they have like a book club on the unit, or they did. Josephine was kind of like in charge of it after like one of the doctors couldn't like be there anymore because they couldn't afford the doctor. The book club was canceled on the unit, but Josephine bought books for them, like the cheap ones, because she got paid like $12 an hour to work on the unit. She wasn't getting paid enough, and he picked out like a book about Van Gogh, like a biography of Vincent van Gogh. And so like, there's a chapter where like he tells us what he learned about Vincent van Gogh. His shoddy was like, distract me, tell me something about your book or whatever. Chapter was actually really interesting. It wasn't really boring, because like, it was kind of his take on what he retained, and like, because of his perspective and how he is, like his personality really like shone through. Like, it wasn't just like, Vincent van Gogh was born here in this time and this, like very formal. It was very much like how he is, where he was like, this guy was a freaking creep, and he did this and that and this and this. And like, low-key, I did kind of learn about Vincent van Gogh. Like at school, we kind of learned about him, but it was all the other stuff where I feel like I don't really want to tell you that much. And that's the part where I'm at right now. They're trying to figure out how to like not get her deported, to stop the deportation process, and how like they're just cherishing each other's company. There's kind of like a sexy scene in this where they're like trying to get it on or whatever, and how like people in the unit, they don't even really care, they found out. So they're cherishing the last moments before she has to go to trial to see if they're gonna deport her or not. This isn't part of my TBR, but I did start an audiobook. It's called Dead Space by S.A. Barnes, and it's like a space horror. And this is where it's like, this is where I felt like I wanted Project Hail Mary to feel like. So I'm doing that. I'm like trying to speed run like as many books as I can read right now up until the end of the year, because right now I'm at 40 books. I passed my goal of 20 books for the year, so it's like fine. I like doubled that, which is cool, but I like really want to get to 60, because last year I read 51 books and I want to read a little bit more than last year. So I want to get up to 60 books. But we'll see. But I'm trying to speed run it, because I'm also just sick of being on my phone all the time. I feel like my time is wasted. I could have finished the audiobook by now. I could have finished this book by now instead of just like being on my phone. And then I think it would help also with like my sleeping schedule. It's like a whole mess. But yeah, that is my update for now. I really gotta go. I have some errands to run. So bye. Alright guys, I finally finished The Devil in Silver by Victor Laval. Look at this, guys. It has been annotated. Look at this. I flipped to all the pages that were not annotated. Anyways, I gave it a 4.5 stars. It was almost a 5-star. If it wasn't for the fact that like there was just something about it where I just took a longer time to read it. Some sort of, I'm not exactly sure what it was. Maybe it was the pacing, or I'm not exactly sure. I think the fact that I changed my expectations for it to not be so scary really helped. I kept waiting for the horror to happen and it wasn't really happening. When I realized that this isn't so much of a horror as it is more of like dark humor, that was when I think I enjoyed it a little bit more. To me, it's not that scary. However, there are some dark themes to it, and there is like body horror, especially towards the end. There are a few scenes in which it gets a little graphic in terms of, you know, human body, the human body. And I feel like that's kind of anticlimactic for how long it took for me to finish the book. Like I said, there was just something about it where I'm like, I don't know why it took me this long. I really did enjoy it. For me, this book is more of characters and people in general, different messages that is being brought up in this book, like racism, classism, mental illness, and how other people view it, and the experiences of people in actual like mental health facilities, like their experiences and how they're treated by the people around them, like the patients as well as the medical providers. I love the humor in this, absolutely love the humor. It took me a little bit to like the main character, Pepper, just because he is multifaceted. You don't really like him that much, but at the same time there's something that like just kind of grows on you about him. He certain way of thinking in the beginning, and towards the end it's like changed a lot. The injustices and things that happen to the characters, like you get really attached to them, at least I do. I really like when books focus on characters. That's kind of something that makes or breaks a book for me a lot of the times, is if I like a character or not. These people in the book, like the characters, they feel very real to me. I think that's one of the things that I really loved about it. There's a lot of really good quotes. I teared up in some of them. I think maybe, I don't know, I'm kind of emotional, but there's so many good quotes in here, and there were tears in my eyes I was trying to hold back because sometimes I would like read it on my break at work and I didn't want anyone to see me crying, so I was just like no, I can't cry right now, my eyes are just watery. There's so many times in this book where I cracked up. I was trying to hold in my laugh because I was out in public, like if I'm at work or whatever. I laughed out loud at so many different parts of the book. I was giggling, gaggling. Like it is a very funny book, and at the same time it can be very heartwarming. Also, I mentioned it before and I'll mention it again. I love the cover of this book. This book is so good. And yeah, I really like The Devil in Silver. I hope that wasn't too anticlimactic. But yeah, that's my update for that. It is currently December 12th. It took me a very long time to finish this book. And like I said, I don't even really know why, because I did really enjoy it, but whatever. During this entire time span of me trying to read this book, I have read a few other books. I knocked out a couple of books from my pile. It was Madam, graphic novels. I did finish one other book. It was not part of my November TBR or my soft TBR list. It was actually called, oh gosh, what was it called? Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. I think I kind of mentioned it at one point in an update as an audiobook. I do also have the physical copy. However, when I listened to the audiobook, I gave it like, I think 2 stars, but honestly thinking about it, was more like a 1-star review. I know this wasn't part of like my original TBR. I thought I would just mention it because it was another book that I finished during this time. I finished this before The Devil in Silver, and it was not a good time. I don't know if maybe it was just an audiobook, but honestly the contents of, I don't know, maybe it was a mix of both the audiobook and just the book in general. The first part of it was really good, and towards the end I was just ready for it to be over, and I didn't want to DNF another book, so I just stuck through it. But yeah, I do not recommend this, but I finished this one as well during our time period. As of right now, since it is December 12th, November is officially like over. The pressure to finish all my soft DNF isn't really there anymore. I don't think I'm going to make a December TBR, just because, like I mentioned before in my November video, right now I think with the holidays and everything, it's a little bit busy, so I don't know exactly how much I'm gonna read. I do want to read as much as I can before the year ends. I did finish my goal of 20 books this year. My reading goal was 20 books, and the past few years I have read past that. But I did 20 books just so I wouldn't feel sad. Like, I felt like 20 books was a very doable thing for a year for me. The past 2 years I read over 20 books. Like, it's only increased, like it was like 40 or something, and then last time it was like 51. And so I didn't officially update it on Goodreads, but in my head I wanted to beat the 51 books, so I wanted to get to like 60 or something like that. Right now, after The Devil in Silver, I am at 43 books. So while I still finished my goal for the year on Goodreads, I wanted to get to at least 60 by the end of this year, but that is in like a few weeks, so I don't really know how possible that really is. Gonna be realistic here, but at the very least I did go over my 20 books. I am prioritizing my book club book, which is One Dark Window. Right now it is like crunch time for the holidays, so I think it was a very ambitious TBR. However, I had so much fun doing it, honestly. Like, it really motivated me to read more, to really like push through, you know, when you have a deadline. That's what it was like, except it was fun for me. So yeah, I thought that was fun. I think I'll try to do that more in the future. I do still really want to finish my soft TBR. I am a mood reader at the same time, so they will still be there, and I will finish them eventually. Let me see how many I have left. This is not including the graphic novels and manga, okay? So give me 1 second. Maurice, that I haven't finished in this challenge, Project Hail Mary, and The Rage of Dragons, which I said was not a priority at all because it is a huge chunker and I was only a few pages in. Then there was the Hellboy short stories, which, I mean, I guess you could count it as 3, but there are pictures in there too, so in a way it's kind of like, I think of it as a graphic novel / manga. So out of all the books, I think it was 3 that I didn't really finish. Like I said, the graphic novels and the manga were kind of like fillers for me. I'm pretty happy with the challenge. I am so happy that I got to finish the books, especially The Devil in Silver. That was one of my priorities that I really wanted to finish, and I figured with this challenge it would really help me get to finish the book. I know this was kind of a long vlog, but regardless, I'm really happy to have done this challenge. I honestly had so much fun doing this. I'm really excited for more challenges to come, hopefully. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next chapter.